What's good YouTube, Benny here, and today I'm going to be giving you my pro camera settings and my controller settings. But just a quick disclaimer, a lot of you guys probably will be able to hear it in the background. My PlayStation sounds like I'm in the Heathrow airport, so sorry if that affects the audio quality and stuff like that. It's something I am going to sort out, but obviously I need to get a can of air and open it up and whatever. So sorry about that, but I don't think it affects the audio too much. But yeah, today we're going to be going over my camera settings and my controller settings, what I'm going to be using at the start of FIFA 21. Of course, if this changes, because I am going to be trying out different things as the time goes on, I'm going to be playing a load of draft coming up now. I will change some things possibly. If I do, you guys will see that on the YouTube anyway. I'll repost my updated ones, but these are the custom tactics. I was going to say custom tactics, not yet. Custom tactics coming soon. My controls and my camera settings, what I am currently using. But yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, we've got the custom controls and game settings right here on your screen. Before we get into that, if you are new around here, subscribe. Also, leave a comment and let me know how you're finding FIFA 21, and also leave a like if you're there. But yeah, let's get into it. Custom controls. The reason why you guys have clicked on this video. FIFA Trainer, have it on hide, or you can just take it off on the menus. What I do, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's not on. You don't need FIFA Trainer. In my opinion, it just makes the game look a little bit more naff, because obviously it's telling you what to press and stuff, and you don't really need it. Just get rid of it. We don't need to go into too much detail with it. Time finishing we have on still. The only reason I have this on is for headers, but I actually don't think you need it on at all this year. I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think there's any boosts or anything like that from actually using the time finishing. So maybe I'll turn it off. That, as I said, I got to be practicing some stuff, but I don't know. I just don't think time finishing is needed this year. I only do it for headers just because, I don't know, I think it's still a mental thing from FIFA 19 when we had to try and time our headers from that El Tornado cost. So I think that might be the only reason I still do it. But in general, I don't use it at all unless I'm bored and trying to just, like, say if I'm 5-6-0 up on a draft and they're not quitting, I'll just try some green time finishing shots, but they don't really need it. Next player switch indicator, I have it off. This obviously shows you what player you're going to switch to with L1 next, or LB, depending on what console you're on. For me, I have it off because I like my game quite simplified. Having another cursor there, if you're used to it and you want to get used to it, not a problem. It's definitely worth having it on. But for me, I like to have it simple and just, I know this is how I played for years and years. I don't need it there. I sort of know what player I'm going to switch, and most of the time I'm switching from my right stick anyway. And I know majority where if I switch with L1, who it's going to, it usually goes to the person who's closest to the ball. So I'm not really worried about knowing actually which one it is as such yet. But I said I see a lot of pros use it, so there is definitely some benefits of it, but I don't think it's too game changing. It's really up to you how you want your game to look and stuff like that. I know it's like just another indicator, but for me, I don't like it. It just makes me feel like I'm playing co-op, and I get confused. But yeah, that's why I have it off. Pass block assistance, you obviously want it off because that's what intercepts the pass when with the AI. Obviously, every bit of AI help you can get is obviously what people want, because it just makes your job a lot easier, especially on this FIFA 21, because I think it's quite hard to defend. I think the AI is not as strong, but there's still it's still hard to score at times, to be honest with you, unless you wide ball it. So there's some difficulties with it, but in general, the AI is pretty dumb, I would say. So having this on definitely will help with sometimes with the AI helping you out wherever it can. But there's so many times where you're not locking onto the ball when you've read something. So don't blame it on that, just blame it on the game at this point, to be honest with you. Auto switching, we have air balls and loose balls, very simple. We have it on air balls and loose balls because, that's when I wanted to switch. You got auto and manual. Make sure you're not using auto, it's definitely not needed at all. You can have manual, but when somebody's doing like a cross or something, you're going to have to switch yourself, and obviously it might switch to the wrong person. With air balls and loose balls, it always switches to the right person where that ball's going to end up. So you might as well just use that assistance where it helps you. As you can see, from what I'm thinking about different stuff when I'm looking at these settings, actually, how can the game assist me but not control the game too much? Just little helps here and there, such as the air balls and the pass block assistance. Auto switch and move assistant. This is, I believe, when you switch to a player, it carries on the movement they was going. So for me, what I want is, as soon as I switch to that person, I want full control. And you need to make sure you haven't got it on high, because if you got it on high, it will carry on the movement it's going. So let's say somebody plays it down the wing and your right back is running to try and stop him. But what you actually want to do when you go to that right back, you want to jockey and hold him there, because he's not going to be able to go past you. But if you have it on high, Walker, for example, I'm going to use here, will just carry on running straight forward. And obviously he's just going to run down the wing. So keep that in mind. You don't really, in my opinion, you don't want to have it on. Use none or low. There's a big difference between high and low. So yeah, none or low. Personally, I have none. Jockey, we've got assisted. I've tried manual and I have tried assisted. I don't actually think there's too much of a difference this year between the two. So it's all preference. I think a lot of people will probably just go assisted because it's the generic one. So yeah, keep it as assisted for myself. As I said, I have tried manual and I didn't feel like there was too much difference. But maybe as the year goes on and the time goes on, we'll realise maybe we need to go manual or we need to stay as assisted, who knows. Auto flare pass, we keep this on. Players perform flare pass contextually in the appropriate situations. So yeah, I don't know if you do want this on, because it's obviously where the game could just back heal it. When you don't want it to back heal it, you want the player to turn and pass. But you know, you can have a bit of fun with it. You know, you can do some skill moves, and you know, you can do the fancy flicks, crosses, and shooting. I think some guy tries to do a Rabona finish on me the other day. So keep that in mind. If you want to have a bit of fun with it, have it on. Have it on. But as I mentioned, this could definitely go off, because I don't like when the game just back heals it on purpose. When I don't want it to. You know, auto clearance, we keep that on. To be fair, you could have that off. Low key, you could have that off, because it is super frustrating. I wonder if that would stop actually when the AI auto lunges in your bots, because it's not actually trying to clear it, it's just trying to. Ooh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to have it off for now. I'm going to try that out, because I have a problem where people go down the byline and pass it in, and the game will auto lunge, and I feel like auto clearances, it's because they're trying to auto clear it, you know. So I'm going to try that off. Because I want to have full control around my bots. I don't want them to be booting the ball, because most of the time when they do boot the ball, it just goes to the opponent anyway and they carry on their attacks from deeper. Auto shots on. I want to keep this on just in case, you know, there's anything when the balls are bouncing around the bots and it just shoots for you. It's a free goal at the end of the day, and you know, you don't have to press anything. I think it happens when it's like a rebound, or like a really close rebound, or something like where it's just natural for the player to react to just shoot. So have that, keep that on. Player lock on. This is obviously the new feature, what they've added. Enable this feature to lock to a player using R3, press and then switch away from the dribbler using R3 flick. Okay, very simple. When you have the ball in possession, you press L3 and R3 together, or both of the right sticks, for example. Right sticks, both of the sticks in, and you will lock to that certain player, and you pass it off, and then you can carry on running around as that player you pick on. Just another option what you can do. I think a lot of people are using it down the wing at the moment, so maybe looking to add that to game. Once again, haven't looked to add that into my game as such. Yeah, I'm just trying to get all the rhythm back into flow, because it's been a long time since I had to play FIFA. Contextual agile dribbling. Enable contextual agile dribbling for a left stick dribbling in one-on-one situations. Absolute bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. If they've added that and left stick dribble is as bad as it is, there's something wrong, because I'm telling you now, from somebody who needs, I kind of need it, yeah. It's vital to the way I play, is how good my left stick dribble is. And they're saying that this feature adds to it. It doesn't. Like, it doesn't. Left stick dribble is awful. So, yeah. I don't think off and on really matters too much with that, because as I just mentioned, it's pretty poor altogether in general. Sisters headers we have off. This is, I believe, disable header assistance. So the headers for passing and shooting are manual and are more accurate. This is a competitive header mechanic to add more skill to headers for everyone. So if you can get used to the manual heading, which is obviously something what you probably want to get used to, because it just said it's more accurate, it's basically more beneficial to you. Have it on. Maybe this is something we learn together. Maybe I'll put this back on. But for me, I didn't realise this was on, and every time I was clearing out a corner and I was directing it, like just trying to get it out, but I wasn't actually like just a normal, like I was aiming this way, for example, I was aiming back to the corner flag, it would keep heading it that way instead of out, and usually when I was directing that way, like in previous years, it would head it out. So I had it off because for the defensive purposes, and I kind of want the assistance because it's so much easier. Because like if you aim for somebody, like if you square ball it into somebody's like head and you pass it off, it's not fully manual, you know. And until we get used to that, that's something to consider. Right stick switch and player relative. Make sure you have this as player relative. This is obviously when you switch, it goes to the player rather than the ball. When you have the ball, you can't switch to like your fullback if you think you're going to switch it. For example, it always follows the ball rather than follows who you're switching with player. So have that on player relative. Ground pass assistant, assisted. Through ball assistant, semi. Keep it basic. Basically what it comes as. Shoot assistant, assisted. Cross assistant, assisted. This should be semi, because semi usually always makes it better, but for some reason right now, assisted is a lot better. It's glitched as how RB squares, back post, you've heard it here first. Be wary. So put it on assisted, but hopefully they fix that out and actually semi is the one better, because it always used to be, and it makes logical sense that semi is better. Lob pass assistant, assisted. Save assistance, assisted, that's only if you're a keeper or something. Analog sprint off, hate having it on. This is obviously depending on how far you push down your sprint button to how fast your player runs. And for me, I find this being quite detrimental, especially when I'm defending, because let's say if somebody's running through on me and I'm holding it down, but I feel like I'm holding it all the way down, but I'm not, he's going to be slower than his full sprint speed. So I have it off because I want to make sure I have full control when it comes to defending and knowing exactly how quick I can run into them situations. Defending, tactical defending, pass receiver, lock, late. Better to have it late than early for sure, because this means you can change your things, your direction of your pass if somebody reads the pass what you originally was going to go to. Classic on the controls. Into the camera settings. We've tried a few different camera settings at the moment. Just quickly before we get into that though, there's a little feature you want to add to make sure it's off. This is called the competitor mode. Have it off. This is when you play squad battles or when somebody disconnects or something like that in draft or something. The computer takes over. It plays at legendary standard. And when you have competitor mode on, the computer basically turns into a prime text. It is nuts. Like, I'm not even joking, yeah? I was playing squad battles on my Road to Glory, and the computer had Ibrahimovic. He did a fake Rabona, flip flat, ball roll. I couldn't believe it. It was just out of nowhere as well. Like, I wasn't even close to him. He was just did it, and I was like, what the hell? I'm not playing that. That was actually correct. So make sure you have that off because it makes it easier for yourself. You don't have to worry about anything. All my camera settings at telebroadcast default. I usually use custom 20.0, but I wanted to try something different this year. Be a little bit more closer to the screen with a telebroadcast as well. Player indicator, you want to make sure you have indicator and player name. Wait, actually, player name and no, that's the one. Player name and indicator is the one you want because that will come up with obviously the indicator and also the player's name on your screen. So make sure you have that on. But that's it really. That is my standard controls. Obviously, I've turned my audio down for certain reasons, but yeah, that is my custom controls and game settings for you guys. There will be a squad builder tomorrow, and the day after that, there'll be my custom tactics, what I am going to be using in FIFA 21 for the start of FIFA 21. Of course, that can change. But if you guys have enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And peace.